Let's bring in Matt George. Matt live is his ABC 10 studio. Matt, why do you hate us?
Huh?
Why do you hate us?
You're Damian Instigator Barling over here, trying to make it out like I'm cranky today. I'm in a good mood.
No, I didn't say
having
you were cranky. No. I didn't say. You say you were a little fired up.
He was fired up.
You were a little fired up in the chat.
Yeah.
You were a little fired up on Twitter yesterday. Yeah. Let's start.
Well, I was fired up at Adam Silver. I wasn't fired up in the chat. I was confused.
Okay, well let's start with
fired up.
Let's start with Adam Silver. We played clips of Adam Silver's press conference yesterday. I think we both had the opportunity to go home and watch the full 34-minute version once the show ended, and it was bad. It was arguably Adam's worst day as a commissioner. Like, he didn't fall on his face or anything, but he literally said nothing right yesterday. Absolutely nothing.
Can't get right.
And I know there's a couple of things that he said yesterday that really got under your skin.
Yeah, I just thought his comments in particular about the concerns, extremely valid concerns about fans not being able to find their team's games, and the concern about how many streaming services that they have to have, and paying even more money in an already extremely inflated economy where it only seems like every day things are just getting more and more expensive. Like that struck home for me, because while I have a lot of these streaming services, every single month when I see them charge my bank account, I'm upset about it, even if I can't afford it. And it just seems like, whether it's I get an email every year about the price of YouTube TV going up, or these channels disappearing with the price staying the same, or God, now I have to have this subscription and this subscription in order to watch this specific show, and blah blah blah. Like it's I know it's irritating for a lot of people. And when the NBA is rightfully, like everybody else, starting to seep into this streaming service era, and people are expressing concerns about it, for the commissioner of the entire league to essentially, in a backhanded way, say, well, if you're too poor to watch it, or you can't figure out how to watch it, you can just go watch highlights on YouTube or Instagram, I thought was extremely tone deaf. I thought it was insulting to consumers who highly value your product. And I'm looking at it from the perspective of someone that, do I watch nationally televised games? Sure. But I don't want to watch the Golden State Warriors or Los Angeles Lakers 55 times a year. Like, I want to watch 82 games of Sacramento Kings basketball. And I know there's a fan of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and maybe that's a bad example because they're good this year, a fan of the Portland Trailblazers who watches 82 games of Trailblazers basketball, and then maybe has on the background in their living room while they're cooking dinner the Thursday night game or Wednesday night game on TNT between the Warriors and the Lakers. And maybe that's on for them. Or they'll watch the games on Christmas Day or on a holiday weekend or things like that, just because it's part of the holiday experience. But to dismiss the people that just want to watch their team 82 times a year, even if that team isn't very good, because they value those games, and just say, well, if you can't find it, you can find clips that journalists like Matt George post on YouTube or on Twitter while they're happening, or you can go onto YouTube 30 minutes after the game and get a cut down 20-minute highlight reel, because heaven forbid you go on ESPN to watch the highlights, because it's the same thing. It's the same 3 or 4 teams that they'll show religiously. Or if your team plays one of those top teams, they'll show 5 highlights from that one team and then 1 highlight from your team, even if your team won. Because that, like, I just thought it was an incredibly tone deaf, insulting comment from a commissioner who should be trying to make their product as accessible as possible. If Commissioner Silver were to have said, like, I understand the concerns of people who don't want or are hesitant to pay the price of a streaming service, we believe our product is worth that value. And we believe our product is so good that you would be willing to sacrifice another streaming service, cancel another service so that you could have this one to watch our product. I would respect that. But for him to not go that route and to just dismiss people and say, then just watch the highlights on YouTube, which is also extremely counterproductive after the 3 or 4 or 5 years of you trying to emphasize that the regular season matters and all these games matter and the implementation of the NBA Cup, all these things, getting rid of load management, forcing stars to play specific games, all to make the regular season matter. And now you're saying, well, you can miss a regular season game. Who cares? Because you can just go watch highlights on YouTube. I just thought it was just a dumb thing to say for a very brilliant, or what we believe to be very brilliant, commissioner of one of the top, most popular leagues, companies, industries on the planet.
I agree wholeheartedly with everything that you said. Just asking the question, what would you kind of mentioned a little bit, well, what would you have wanted him to say in that situation? And even him saying that wouldn't change the reality of prices going up. So what would you, I asked 2 questions or made a statement, but what would you have wanted him to say in that situation?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what I said in that little rant, is like, to me, just express that this is where everything is going and you believe that your product is worth this value. Like, this is where the industry is headed. There's going to be some growing pains. We're still figuring some things out. I acknowledge the fact that that's concerning for some people. We will, we're experimenting. This is a new era for us, but we believe that our product is worth you getting that subscription, and hope that you will believe in us, trust in us, and pay what it is to be able to watch those games. I just would have respected something along those lines, or even if he just straight acknowledged, yeah, it's more expensive. That's kind of where we're at, and go from there. I would have appreciated him being more upfront about it, because again, I'm watching the games no matter what. I already have the subscription services. I'm also fortunate enough to be able to follow the Sacramento Kings in the way that I follow the Sacramento Kings. So I'm speaking from a different situation from a lot of people, but I have talked to fans who go, yeah, I'm not getting Amazon Prime to watch the 3 times or 5 times that the Kings are on Prime this year. That's not worth it for me. If I already had Amazon Prime, then okay, this is a good benefit. But there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that right now cannot afford to add a $12.99 subscription service or whatever it may be to pay for whatever games that the NBA has chosen for their particular team on that streaming service. And if the answer from the commissioner is, well, the other 76 games will be on your normal station, so just watch those, I think that's insulting and dismissive of the very valid concerns of your consumer.
I actually think Adam wants to make it worse. We've talked about this in the past. Excuse me. Adam Silver does not like regional sports networks. And he has made that ridiculously clear. As a matter of fact, yesterday might be the first time he hasn't brought it up. He brought it up kind of in a roundabout way, but never directly said, yeah, we've got to get out of this archaic way that we air basketball games locally. I'm of the belief what he wants to do is create some sort of subscription service where you subscribe to something to watch your Sacramento Kings play every night. I don't know that for sure, but I think that's what he wants. I think he clearly doesn't want NBC Sports California and, Bally's, all of these different Fox Sport, all of these different, some defunct, some still functioning networks. He doesn't want those to have control over NBA basketball. He wants himself, he wants his league to be able to control the output of those basketball games. And I think the primary way to do that is to offer fans what is essentially single team league pass accounts to watch their favorite team, which would create, and I don't think this would be anything extravagant, $50. I don't think it would be anything like that. But I do think we'd be looking at $10 to $15, maybe $25 to watch the Sacramento Kings play every year.
And if that's where we're headed, I can see that model being successful. But the path to get there is probably going to be bumpy and is going to have some curves and some struggles to get there. If that's the end result, then I think ultimately people would validate that and feel better about that. But while you are transitioning away from the common model of, I know what local channel my team is.
Can I stop you right there? Because I don't know that that's accurate, and I'm not sure you're understanding fully what I'm saying. I'm saying Amazon and NBC and all of that stuff still exists. But if you want to see the Kings versus the Wizards on a Tuesday night, you have to subscribe to this League Pass in addition to everything else you already subscribe to see them when they're on NBC and when they're on these. Because, sweetie, we're not going to do anything to damage this $76 billion partnership we just established with all these networks. What we want to do is take these other regional networks and teams out of the control of their local games and bring them to you as a league. So it's an added expense for you to watch every single game that your team plays.
Well, we're gonna see how companies like the WWE going over to ESPN and potentially eventually making their premier live events, their PLEs, cost an additional. It's not doing that right now, but I would not be surprised if PLEs start to cost a little additional on top of the subscription price. So if that's where we're headed, I people are naturally going to be frustrated. But you just, one of the things you said there that made me smile is you said, like, you don't want to jeopardize these massive TV deals that you just signed with all these companies, and yet you just devalued regular season basketball games by the comments that you made about just go watch highlights then if you can't see it. So you're already counterproductive to what you're trying to do. You're already, if I'm a TV company, if I'm NBC and I just spent all this money, or whoever, and I heard those comments from Adam Silver, I'm going, yo, what? No, that's not what we want.
Yeah. They actually, and I don't know how it works out locally. I'm not sure if you're able to do it or it's blacked out or whatever. But they do have the single team league pass for like $13 a month. You weigh that against, I think on YouTube TV, the sports package is $10 a month, maybe something like that.
Does NBC Sports California need the sports package?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I don't think it does. I think it's like things like Red Zone. What they do is they put the Red Zone in the sports package, and then they add like the NASCAR channel, and then the cricket channel and stuff that you'll never watch, but you're paying for 10 stations because you want the Red Zone channel.
VSIP or something like that, one of those channels.
Sure.
Overtime. I do watch Overtime. I think you get
okay.
it too. I think
that's Shams was on there. Is that where that show lives?
Yeah.
And Beetle?
It's usually like they play Mikey Williams' reality show 40 times a day, basically. But it's like high school prep sports type stuff. But yeah, I think they were at FanDuel.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Did you guys see Matt Kinney? Did you guys see Mark Cuban's tweet in response to Adam Silver's press conference yesterday? I'm seeing this for the first time.
I did not see it.
He quote tweeted a tweet that we referenced from Rachel Nichols yesterday. And he said, Adam definitely whiffed on this one. But I can tell you that unless a lot has changed in the last 20 months, he is one of the people standing up for fans in a room where a lot of owners are not. And that's the difficulty of being a commissioner of a major sport, is you are the mouthpiece for the board of you are the mouthpiece for the governors in that room. Roger Goodell is a mouthpiece. Adam Silver is a mouthpiece. Adam Silver usually handles himself a little bit better than he did yesterday, but as someone who has been in the room, Mark Cuban says that's not really indicative of how Adam Silver feels.
And that was the first time for me where I felt like Adam Silver was speaking for the elite. Like when I hear Rob Manfred talk, I know exactly who he's speaking for, and he doesn't even try and hide it. I think Adam Silver has done a pretty consistent job of representing ownership, his bosses, owners, but not being demeaning in any sort of way towards the consumer. And while Adam didn't do this directly, and this is just my WWE brain working, like hearing those comments, I had the gif of Hunter Hearst Helmsley in my head, just kind of turning his nose up at, if you can't afford to watch me, then piss off to YouTube and watch highlights over there, peasants. Like that's how it came across.
Like a bad impression of me doing a Luka Doncic.
That's your Luka Doncic?
Yeah, no one knows why. It's just the way it is. I have no idea why that became my Luka Doncic, but it did. I love that version of Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Get out of here. Guy who would wrestle in a pig pen match later. Yeah, this road we're going like sports leagues are making it really hard to be sports fans. They're making it really expensive to be sports fans. But as we talked about yesterday, as Kenny and I talked about, Matt, this is just all on top of the other things we have to pay for in life. Rent going up, mortgage rates changing, groceries being expensive, gas being expensive, electricity being expensive, all of those different things. It's like, now you want me to pay $3 more for NBC. You want me to pay $3 more where I can get home and relax and watch the things I like to watch.
And that's why I felt that Silver's comments were so dismissive, because the vast majority of the country is going through that. And Adam and his bosses might not have to worry about that because they can only swim in a pool of their own net worth. But like the rest of us deal with the frustrations of, like I said, an email every month about a different streaming service going up, or going to the grocery store and having to maybe take a look at the store brand just to save a couple of bucks, because you used to go in and get 6 items and walk out and it was $30. Now you go through self-checkout thinking this will be nothing and it's $75 and you're angry walking to your car. Like that's just the reality of the world that we live in. And look, I get capitalism and I get inflation and supply and demand and all this stuff, but that doesn't mean it's fun to go through. And when you have a commissioner get asked a very valid question about the concerns of the average consumer in this inflated economy, about the price of something that they use to even escape the chaos of the world, and you have that kind of response to it, I think it's just very damaging and very insulting, and not something a commissioner of a league should be saying.
He just missed. That was a really bad response. I also think that there isn't much he could have said that would have made people feel better about having to spend that type of money to do that. But at least try. Like at least try to do something better.
Right.
So.
Right. Do you? There's a couple of things Kings related. I want to ask you. Obviously, none of it's pressing. We're a couple of weeks away from media day, but do you have any thoughts on this Kawhi Leonard, Los Angeles Clippers, Pablo Torre situation that you want to share?
I've been following it mostly through listening to Kyle and James and the four of you discuss it in the handoff, and reading about it online. I've not listened to either of the podcast episodes. I think it's phenomenal investigative journalism by a someone who is putting their neck out there in a major way to put this information out there, and he's taking on one of the richest men on the planet in doing so, even if I'd hope, based off of Ballmer's personality, that he's not the vindictive type. Like this is, you're taking on a massive fish, and I admire the work and the guts of Pablo Torre to put something together strong enough to be able to go out there like this. So there's a certain amount of respect on that side. The only feeling that I have towards it is kind of very similar to what James and Kyle have said. If it's true, and it kind of sounds like it's true, then the NBA needs to come down hard on this, and they certainly can't brush it under the rug. And there's the jealous Sacramentan in me that's like, of course it's an LA team doing something like this. Like, you can't allow, they already have every advantage on the planet in terms of market and things of that nature to attract free agents. Why would we let them get away with more advantages of sliding money under the table to these bogus tree planting companies? So I'm more of a interested bystander, watching to see how the league handles things at this point. I'm not invested in any sort of way. I would hope that if no punishment happens, then I I would like to believe that no punishment is happening because there's genuinely not enough there, and then we can get to actual basketball on the floor and forget that this is even a story and move on. But look, I think something's going on, and the league probably should do something about it and can't just brush it under the rug. And if they do, then especially owners of smaller market teams, I'm not necessarily just saying Vivek Ranadive, but smaller market teams should be ringing the bell going, yo, like we don't have these advantage. We're already at a disadvantage with these teams. And now they're circumventing the salary cap to make sure that they can keep their stars or get their stars in LA, in Hollywood. Nah, that's not cool. We got to do something about that.
Is this a market issue or an owner issue? Because I think, Damien, you talked about this. We're really talking about one owner that has money that you just can't see. Yeah. Like everybody else, obviously, Lakeup's got more money than Vivek, but it's not $15 billion more dollars than Vivek. Like there's one guy, and I guess now maybe, you talk about the Lakers and their ownership group.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Lacob. I'm not as familiar with the Celtics, but there's obviously all of these people have money, but there's even levels to wealth. And Ballmer is just on a different level than not only any owner in the NBA, but any owner in professional sports. He is on a different, but don't make any mistake about it. A lot of owners, not all of them, at least in my opinion, not all of them, but a lot of them, they can afford to do something similar to this. It's just Ballmer's been an investor his entire life. It's going to look funny if all of a sudden, like, oh, no, Vivek invested in one tech company and it really took off. Now, all of a sudden, he's investing in trees and a balloon company. They just really love balloons.
Balloon company.
They asked Domantas Sabonis to take a picture with a balloon. He said no. Like, wait a minute. They paid him $15 million. Like, that's going to look crazy.
Yeah.
Someone investigate if Vivek has any stake in Great Clips. Aren't those the commercials that Domas is doing, the Great Clips commercials?
I don't think I've seen it.
I don't think I've seen it either. Like, the joke has been pizza guys.
No, he's great. Domas does Great Clips commercials, or has done them in the past, and they made me laugh every time.
Okay. Does
no, say it.
Changing subjects. Does Terrence Davis getting waived yesterday or the day before, does that mean anything?
I don't think so. I think it was.
Is the bat signal out there?
I don't think so. I think the writing was on the wall with that, with the fact that it was a non-guaranteed contract and another guy that Scott Perry inherited and wasn't one of his guys. So I think it was always going to happen that TD would be waived, unfortunately. But as far as I understand, that doesn't open the door to Russell Westbrook come on through, because if that were the case, then why wasn't this done a month or two ago? So I think it's a step in the right direction, I suppose, but it sounds like there's still more work to be done before Russ walks through that door, and we're all still waiting on the Kuminga side of things too. So here we are, just waiting.
Oh, I apologize.
Kuminga watch.
I don't even know. I'd never know. It just get our bits in. That's all it is. As they say in wrestling, got to get my stuff off.
Got to get your stuff off, which reminds me, download the PrizePicks app. Put in the promo code KIFM to get $50 off your first $5 lineup. Let's put in that promo code KIFM to get $50 off your first $5 lineup. Must be present in certain states.
Wait, whoa. We don't even get a lineup?
Well, I have a lineup, but I wanted to get back to Matt George.
Well, give us a lineup real quick.
All right, well, look.
A quick one.
LSU in Florida. I've got Aaron Anderson at 4.5 receptions. I went more. DJ Lagway.
Sideline reporter? What is that?
DJ Lagway at 40.5 for his longest completion. I went less. And Garrett Newsenmeyer, I think that's how you say his last name. I always forget. But he's going to ball out against Florida. I got him at more than 224.5 passing yards. Also, there's a max discount with Travis Kelce. Okay. I threw that in there, too. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's a good look. Look. Must be present in certain states. Go to prizepicks.com for more details. PrizePicks.
Oh, you're having a tough time over there, huh?
Well, no, because the general manager,
it's a sham.
I don't know what's going on.
It's filthy McNasty.
Okay. So this is actually, does the little apostrophe here, does that matter?
No, but I see two people before that.
Yeah, they got disqualified.
They got disqualified for that.
Yeah,
I had to check.
Don't worry about that.
I apologize.
It's good to be right.
What a disaster.
Filthy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. We're good.
Rinky-dink league. Just
filthy
running around sticking forks in people's ears here.
There's spaces in these little fire emojis too, or there's different fonts. I don't know.
Yeah, that does look. Now that looks different.
Yeah, that looks counterfeit. Let me see your ticket, sir.
Matt, we're less than 2 weeks away. We're a little over 2 weeks away from the start of training camp. Are you starting to get a little excited, or you just kind of like, I don't know how this is all going to go?
No, I can't help it. Of course I am. I can't help it. Like, it's in the blood, right? And I did a podcast with Deuce about this earlier this week. It's in the blood, man. Even with all the fears and concerns and apprehension that I have about where this team is at right now. Hey, Kings basketball coming back. Hey, but what if? Like, what enjoying the little moments of what does it look like when Zach LaVine has another one of those fourth quarters that we've saw a couple of times in the final third of the season? Hey, what if Doug Christie can be the guy to fit all these pieces together? What if it clicks? What if Nick Clifford is as good as we saw him in Summer League, right? So there's always the best part about sports is while we can have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, we never know for sure. And so there's always that element of like possibility that intrigues me. Plus, like in Sacramento, it's a festival, it's a holiday, bringing Kings basketball back and being in the Golden One Center. Like it's a treat. It's a privilege that I never take for granted in my position of being able to cover the team that I grew up watching. I've told people if I wasn't doing this job for a living, I'd be a season ticket holder and be there every night anyway, just because this is
rich.
Well, I'd be sitting with Drew up in the top with the view that you can't see half the court up there by that little production box up there. But no, I'd be enjoying Sacramento Kings basketball because it's a festival for us, and it's a holiday every time I get to go out there and spend time with 18,000 or 17,000 Kings fans who are there for the same reason. So there's reasons about this team to be excited. There are a number of things about this team to be intrigued about, and that's what has my attention really going into training camp. So I'm in, man. I'm in. It might take a week into the season and I go, oh God, this is as bad as I thought. We're in for a long year. But as of now, I'm in. Bring on media day, bring on training camp. I'm all in.
Matt, great stuff as always. If you're not, and I'm sure you already are, make sure you're subscribed to the Locked On Kings podcast, wherever you get podcasts from. Check out our man, Matt, and his great work over at ABC 10. As well. We'll be back here. We got a great football game tonight. We'll be back here to talk about it tomorrow. Get you ready for week 2 NFL action, beginning with the Insiders here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
Vamos, Space Traders.